G'day gamers, Aussie Wargamer here in Moree, Australia, and welcome to my channel. On this episode, I'll chat a bit about my first tournament as tournament organiser, Country Carnage, that ran in Tamworth this past weekend. So let's get to it, eh? Country Carnage was a one-day, three-game, 1,500 point AOS tournament in Tamworth, New South Wales. It was hosted by Lots More Craft and Gaming, so a big thanks to those guys for letting us use their space. We had 10 players from Moree, Tamworth and Armidale, which is awesome. I'm hoping that we can grow it up, perhaps even to become a full convention in a few years' time. I love playing Warhammer, but I don't love having to travel 6, 9, even 12 hours to get to events. So if we can build the scene here locally, in the same way Measured Gaming down in Bendigo has built their scene, then that would be bonza. Anyway, I had 3 cracking games of AOS, and apologies, while I took a few photos over the weekend, I didn't take any of me games because I was keen to just play some Warhammer without worrying about happy snaps. I was running my Bratovineth with Alariel, and my first game was against the Daughters of Cain list with Marathi. So we had Badass Elven False God versus Badass Elven False God. This was my opponent's third game of AOS, so we're still getting used to the rules and the army. We were playing 3 places of power, and I gave him the first turn, knowing he couldn't get any of his heroes on the objective's first turn, and I could get 3 of mine on. He deployed almost entirely on his right side, but kept 2 units of Heart Renders off the board. His first turn didn't account to much, and I was able to come up with my heroes to hold all 3 objectives in my turn. Alariel and my Grail Knights were able to charge a unit of Doomfire Warlocks and stay holding the central objective, while my Dryads ran up to screen my Damsel on the left objective, and my Lord on Pegasus took the right objective with my Archers. The Doomfires never really stood a chance in the combat phase and were wiped out. I won priority into turn 2, and my Dryads charged his Witch Elves, Alariel charged his second unit of Doomfires, again staying within the objective range, and the Grail Knights hit some Witch Elves and his Cauldron. By the end of the battle round, his Heart Renders had come down and were killed by my Archers and my Lord on Pegasus. My Grail Knights and Dryads had all been killed, as had a unit of his Witch Elves, and Marathi was left on 3 wounds. I was up 9 points to 0, and when I won the priority, it was really game over. I scored all 3 objectives for another 9 points, and he just couldn't catch up. So that was the major for me. I think it really did come down to deployment. Me 2 weaker heroes didn't really have anything that troubled them, leaving Alariel to do the heavy lifting. Game 2 was against Beastclaw Raiders, with a Frostlord on Stonehorn and 3 units of 4 Mournfangs. We were playing Border War. My opponent took first turn, moved everything forward, and charged his Frostlord into me Dryads and a Mournfang pack into me Archers. Both units were decimated to the point where what was left ran away anyway. My only hope at this point was to ignore him, go for objective points, win the double turn, and then use whatever magic I could to deal as much damage as possible and hopefully survive. I ended turn 1 ahead 6 points to 2, having taken out 2 Mournfang Riders, rolled for priority, and rolled a 1. My opponent then proceeded to table me in turn 2 after about half an hour of gameplay. It was absolutely brutal. Game 3 after lunch was Knife to the Heart, and I played a Stormcast army with a bit of a magic focus and a couple of ballistas. I left me Dryads on the objective, went hero hunting with Grail Knights, and used Alariel and me Lord on Pegasus to punch through the Sequitors and the Evocators. Unfortunately for me opponent, Alariel, with either the Lord or her summoned Kurnoth Hunters, were enough to kill 1 full unit each combat round. And at the end of me turn 3, I had Alariel and 2 Kurnoth Hunters against his 2 remaining Retributors in his territory at the objective, giving me the major win. So I ended the day with 2 major victories and a major loss, but more importantly, with 3 fantastic games of Age of Sigmar and a successful tournament under me belt. A big congratulations to all the winners, and I hope we can do it again sometime. I can definitely see Country Carnage happening every year, even every 6 months, which I reckon would be bonza. Well, that's all from me. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay tuned if you want to hear more of my voice. Catch us later.